He was 64 when it started. John, a retired firefighter from Illinois, once known for his grit and physical strength, found himself quietly avoiding the bedroom. He wasn't in pain, but he felt hollow, less of the man he used to be. His wife noticed. He knew it, but he didn't talk about it. That silence, more than anything, was eating him alive. And if you're a senior man watching this right now, maybe over 60, maybe 70, I want to say something that might just shift everything. You're not broken. And what have you been told about losing your strength as you age? It might be one of the greatest lies sold to men after retirement. What if I told you there's a tiny, dark brown spice sitting in your kitchen right now that could gently restart the engine of your masculine vitality? Not a pill, not a gimmick, but something older than medicine itself. And in just 60 seconds each morning, it could start to bring back a kind of strength you thought you'd lost forever. This story isn't about spices. It's about restoring identity, about rediscovering your sense of self-worth, attraction, intimacy, energy, the things society quietly tells older men they should let go of. So stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to share isn't just backed by science. It's rooted in the real lives of senior men. Like John. Like maybe you. If you're here because you're tired of quick fixes that never fix anything, hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you've ever felt forgotten or frustrated with your body as you've aged. Drop a comment with your city and age. Let's show the world how much elderly wisdom and senior motivation still live strong. This isn't just a video, it's a revival. Let's begin. John used to laugh about his glory days until the laughter stopped. Something had changed, and it wasn't just his body. It was the silence in his voice, the pause in his glance. That quiet resignation you only notice if you've lived a little longer, fought a little harder. That's when he remembered something from his grandmother. A spice she always kept close, not just for cooking, but for energy, warmth, and yes, love. That spice? Cloves. Whole cloves. That tiny brown treasure hiding in plain sight. A spice that ancient warriors, emperors, and lovers once swore by. Let's dig into why this humble clove may be the most overlooked senior health secret of the modern age. To begin with, let's look at the deep biological reasons why chewing cloves can restore masculine vitality. When you chew a clove, you release a compound called eugenol. This natural substance functions like a master key, gently unlocking your body's circulatory power. Research published in Phytotherapy Research has confirmed that eugenol helps dilate blood vessels naturally. As we age, those vessels begin to stiffen, restricting blood flow and making every function, from walking to intimacy, feel like more effort. But cloves don't force anything. They soften, they restore, and they train your system to function without synthetic stimulation. This is how many seniors are reclaiming not just function, but dignity. But the benefit of cloves isn't just in how they work. It's in what they represent. For many men, performance is tied to something deeper than biology. It's identity. When we spoke to Michael, 71, from Oregon, he told us the pills made him feel dependent. But cloves? That was different. That was a choice, a ritual, a return to something older, more grounded. In his words, it felt like reclaiming something I lost. That's the difference between a quick fix and a lasting change. It's not about performance. It's about presence. The feeling that you're still you, powerful, attractive, and alive. And cloves, small as they are, seem to tap into this on a deeper level. Let's now consider the silent enemy of aging, inflammation. Cloves are among the most powerful anti-inflammatory herbs available. This matters deeply because inflammation is not just about stiff joints. It affects your nerves, your vessels, and even your clarity of thought. According to research in the Journal of Medicinal Food, cloves fight inflammation at a cellular level. That means better blood flow, sharper thinking, and stronger responses where you need them most. As Dr. Laura Jensen from Arizona puts it, spices like clove aren't just flavorful. They're medicinal. Imagine feeling clearer, calmer, more comfortable in your own skin. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when your inflammation finally subsides. But there's another pathway cloves affect that's just as critical: your mouth. We rarely think about how oral health affects sexual function, but the connection is undeniable. A 2021 study showed that men with gum disease were 70% more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. That's because the bacteria in your mouth travel into your bloodstream, inflaming the very vessels your body relies on. Cloves, with their strong antibacterial properties, cleanse your mouth within minutes of chewing. This not only freshens your breath, but also unblocks the pathways to better blood flow. Ancient Chinese emperors even made their partners chew cloves before intimacy, not just for smell, but because they understood the connection between oral cleanliness and arousal. Chewing cloves isn't just hygiene, it's healing. Let's now shift to something many men never address directly: stress. As we age, stress becomes quieter but more corrosive. Finances, loneliness, chronic pain, they all wear on you. And inside your body, that stress releases cortisol, a hormone that directly suppresses testosterone. The more cortisol you carry, the less masculine you feel. But cloves contain beta-caryophyllene, a remarkable natural compound that tells your brain to slow down stress responses. Within 20 minutes, most men report feeling calmer, more centered. Testosterone has room to rise again. It's not a miracle. It's biochemistry finally aligned with your needs. And when you combine that with this soothing act of chewing, a rhythmic, mindful motion, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's rest and digest mode. It says, "You're safe now." All of that healing from a single clove. But it gets even better when we talk about sleep. Testosterone is made during the night, not the day. Specifically, it's created in your deepest sleep cycles. And yet most older men can't stay asleep or sleep lightly, waking unrefreshed. Cloves help here too. Eugenol and beta-caryophyllene not only soothe anxiety, they help your body produce melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. When you sleep deeply, your hormones rebuild. Your mind resets. Your energy returns. Clove chewing before bed has been reported to increase vivid dreaming, better rest, and morning vitality. And all of this starts from calming the nervous system the moment you close your eyes. Now, let's tie all of this into a practice that is both simple and profound. The 1-minute clove technique is not complicated, but it is powerful. Each morning, when your body is still quiet and your hormone levels most responsive, take 2 to 3 whole cloves. Place them between your back molars. Gently bite to release the oils. Hold them for 30 seconds, then chew slowly for another 30 seconds. You can choose to spit or swallow the remnants either way. The benefit is in the contact with your mouth and the absorption through your gums. The real magic? It's in the consistency. This isn't a one-time trick. It's the ritual. A decision each day to wake up, claim your power, and tend to your body like it deserves. John began this routine at 64. Within weeks, he wasn't just back to himself. He was stronger, more attentive to his partner, and more confident in his skin. His wife noticed. His energy changed. And that quiet resignation that had once haunted his eyes, it was gone. When we talk about strength, we often think of muscles, stamina, or energy. But after 60, true strength looks different. It's the ability to reconnect with yourself, with your partner, with your sense of value. And that's where the real power of this tiny spice starts to shine. Because what cloves do to your body is only half the story. What they awaken in your spirit is something far more profound. Frank, 67, from North Carolina, shared something quietly powerful. After just 3 weeks of using the 1-minute clove technique, it wasn't just his physical energy that returned. It was the warmth in his marriage. "She touches me again," he said, eyes wet. "Not out of duty, but because something changed between us." That's what happens when a man regains his presence. Not dominance, but attention, emotional connection, and confidence. You see, the act of chewing cloves before bed doesn't just boost testosterone or ease your sleep. It becomes a ritual. And rituals, especially shared ones, bring intimacy. This is particularly important in long-term relationships where passion may have faded, not because love is gone, but because vitality is lost. When you feel more awake in your own body, you naturally become more attuned to your partner. You notice her smile again. You linger in conversation. You laugh without forcing it. And yes, you reach for her not out of obligation, but out of desire. What makes this even more compelling is how cloves influence your brain. The combination of eugenol, beta-caryophyllene, and vanillin doesn't just help circulation, it enhances dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical, is what floods your system during pleasure and intimacy. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, helps you feel emotionally connected and safe. Most pharmaceutical approaches miss this. They chase performance. But what you need is connection. When these hormones rise naturally through a daily ritual, they set the stage for emotional safety and sensual renewal. Think about how powerful that is. Many men over 60 tell us they've stopped initiating, not because they aren't interested, but because they fear rejection. But when your body feels strong again and your emotions feel anchored, that fear disappears. You lean in, not back. You speak more freely. You express affection without second guessing. And your partner senses this shift. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's a mirror. And when you show up differently, the mirror reflects something beautiful back. And it's not only romantic relationships that transform. Men who chew cloves regularly report feeling more socially engaged overall. They reconnect with old friends. They participate more in family gatherings. They feel less invisible. This ties into what researchers call emotional regulation. As stress hormones lower and feel-good hormones rise, your tolerance, patience, and curiosity expand. You feel less isolated. You want to engage. You have more energy for life. This is especially crucial in the later decades when loneliness and isolation can creep in. According to a 2020 study in the Journal of Gerontology, seniors with higher social connection had not only better mental health, but also lower blood pressure, better memory, and reduced mortality. Cloves are not a magic bullet, but they are a catalyst, a starting point, a choice to re-enter the world, not just as an observer, but as a vibrant participant. It's also important to speak to the quieter aspects of masculine identity. After retirement, many men struggle with a sense of purpose. Who am I if not my job? What do I bring to the table now? When your energy is low and your intimacy is strained, it's easy to believe the lie that you're past your prime. But you're not. You're wiser. You're more emotionally intelligent. And now, with this practice, you can also be physically capable. Steve, 74, from Texas, summed it up perfectly. I thought I'd said goodbye to that part of my life. Turns out, it was just waiting for me to come back. The ritual doesn't just transform relationships, it reshapes the day. Chewing cloves in the evening helps regulate cortisol, preparing your body for deeper sleep. But in the morning, some men begin a different variation, chewing one clove as part of their wake-up. They report enhanced clarity, stronger breathing, a sharper voice, and a feeling of being plugged back into life. It's the same ingredient, but used like a tuning fork for the nervous system. That flexibility of timing allows each man to personalize the practice. For couples, it becomes a sacred space, a minute before bed, spent together in silence or soft laughter. Over time, that minute grows into more, cuddling, deep conversation, rediscovered physical closeness. And the key word here is rediscover, because you're not building from scratch. You're returning to a vitality that was once familiar, then faded, and now revived. It's a loop of wellness. Chew for better sleep, sleep for higher testosterone, testosterone for stronger connection, connection for emotional safety, safety for restful sleep. And that cycle fuels itself. The beautiful thing is how small the commitment is. You're not being asked to lift weights for an hour, run marathons, or give up your favorite foods. You're being invited to choose something natural, time-tested, and rooted in both science and tradition. It's about saying yes to the little choices that add up, what we might call the quiet victories of age. And here's something profound. Your grandchildren, your adult children, your community, they see this. They feel your renewed presence. They stop treating you like someone on the sidelines and start listening again. Because nothing inspires like vitality in an elder. Nothing commands quiet respect like a man who has reclaimed his rhythm, his kindness, his energy. That is elderly wisdom in motion. That is the message behind this simple spice. You are still becoming. So far, we've explored how something as simple as a clove can reignite physical vitality and emotional connection. But what if that daily minute was just the spark, and what comes next is a lasting flame? Because here's the deeper truth. When you combine this ritual with a few key longevity habits, the results don't just stay, they grow. Let's begin with food. Cloves are powerful, yes, but their impact is amplified when paired with the right nutrients. Think of them as the conductor in an orchestra. The music only reaches its full beauty when the other instruments are tuned. Zinc, magnesium, and healthy fats. These are your violin, cello, and drums. Dark leafy greens, wild salmon, avocado, and nuts build a foundation where clove compounds can do their best work. They keep your vessels clean, your hormones balanced, and your brain sharp. Many seniors overlook nutrition, assuming it's too late. But it's not. One small shift in your diet can unlock another layer of energy. Next, let's talk about movement. Not exercise in the grueling, punishing sense, but circulation, activation, flow. Clove compounds like eugenol enhance nitric oxide and oxygen delivery, but those systems thrive with motion. A 15-minute walk after your evening clove ritual? That's synergy. Gentle resistance training twice a week? That's regenerative. Your muscles remember what it feels like to be needed. And when you wake them up, they reward you with more strength, better posture, and renewed balance. You don't need a gym. You need intention. You need to move like a man who's still living forward. Then comes breath. Breath is life. And yet, many of us forget to use it fully. Shallow chest breathing keeps the body tense. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, especially paired with cloves' natural anxiety relief, rewires the nervous system. A simple daily breathwork practice, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, calms cortisol and tells your brain, you're safe. Safe to rest, safe to perform, safe to connect. Over time, this calm becomes your baseline. And peace, when practiced daily, becomes strength. Mindset is the invisible thread pulling all these elements together. It's how you see yourself, how you choose to frame your age. Are you in decline? Or are you stepping into wisdom, energy, and influence that younger men haven't even earned yet? Elderly reflections aren't about loss. They're about legacy. When you chew your clove each night, you're not trying to rewind the clock. You're rewriting what aging looks like. You're choosing to believe in your body again. And that belief radiates. Let's bring in the power of habit stacking. Researchers in behavioral psychology tell us that change lasts when we link new actions to existing routines. So attach the clove ritual to something automatic. Brushing your teeth, laying out your clothes, turning off the TV. The more mindless the connection, the more powerful the habit. Over time, this stack builds momentum. And that momentum builds transformation. For some men, the ritual becomes a doorway. They begin meditating for 5 minutes after chewing. They journal how they feel. They begin reading again, walking more, planning small trips with their partner. Not because they're told to, but because they want to. Their bodies are aligned. Their energy is back. They've tasted vitality, and now they're hungry for life. And let's not forget what this ritual symbolizes for the next generation. Your grandchildren aren't just watching how you age. They're learning how to age. When they see strong, present, open-hearted, they inherit not only your genes, but your spirit. That's the real legacy. Not what you leave behind, but who you become in front of them. This is what makes your story part of a larger story, a lineage of wisdom, quiet power, and humble leadership. We call this the longevity loop. It begins with one clove, but it evolves into a system, a cycle of nourishment, motion, rest, and love. You chew for your heart. You breathe for your brain. You walk for your blood. You connect for your soul. And each of these elements circles back to support the others. It's holistic. It's integrated. It's what aging with intention looks like. As we conclude, let's revisit what started all of this. A tiny brown spice, passed down from emperors and healers, carried by sailors and lovers, forgotten in modern medicine cabinets until now. You've rediscovered it. And in doing so, maybe you've rediscovered yourself. So tonight, don't just chew a clove. Claim it. Let it mark the beginning of your renewal. And as you fall asleep with calm breath and a lighter heart, remember, you are not declining. You are ascending into a wiser, more connected, and more powerful version of yourself. If this story stirred something in you, please click like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. And tell me, what city and state are you watching from? I'd love to know where our growing community of vitality and inspiration is finding its strength.